Hey kids, today I'm ranking every boss in Cuphead, including the DLC from the easiest pushovers to the absolute nightmares. Some of these bosses are way harder than people admit, and I already know at least one of my picks is going to make people mad. By the end, I'll reveal the one boss that almost broke my entire femininity. The ranking is based on difficulty, but also annoyance type shift. Coming at number 1 is Cuphead Grande. The reason he's here is because you don't even need to jump except for the parries if you even want those. Nothing really stands out from a ball trying to figure out how to get around without its sibling. Nothing about it is memorable, honestly. At number 2, we have the Queen. There's a lot going on, but again, you don't even need to jump on this fight. Parry the wall and blast her dress type shit. The best part is her using the entirety of her kingdom and still losing against furniture. It really shows how women can be if you give them everything. At least the king gives a prize for beating his wife.
Thy reward, wealth untold.
The knight is a little stronger as he should to protect the queen unless this was an anime. Parry his mohawk and deal with it. Different dance moves, different times you can attack before fleeing. You can handle it. The best part is the death animation of this guy. Next up is the rook, getting harder than ever just thinking about sticking it inside a guillotine.
Bro, it's
Hey, if it works, it works. You gotta parkour from head to head until you experience the best head and bust. You wouldn't expect the pawns to do better than all the kingdom, but they do. It's annoying enough to dodge the ones who have nothing to do with the fight, and anyways, you can keep beating children to your heart's content as revenge for back when you couldn't do it. Number 6 come in hot as negligible. This time you do need to jump around and then slice an onion that cries, but the hardest part of the boss is the carrot, which after you've learned to dodge the pawns is easier than said. Next, Captain Bird. Even though he's far ahead in the game, he's easier. You don't really need to worry that much about anything bro does. The barrel hovering over you isn't that dangerous as long as you keep moving. Just keep it pushing. Now, we're entering mid tier, which means instead of being total bums, the enemies are mid and could do much better. Starting off with Baroness Bonbon, which I love because I love candy so I could devour her for rounds, which is exactly what I do before getting spinning head. She lands here because she's a bit more complicated than the easy level bosses, but she's easier than all the mid-level bosses. What really makes her outstanding is the fact I would hit. Next we got Rats. Good throwback to Tom and Jerry. This requires a bit more concentration than the candy, but he throws vegetables at you to compensate, which is great. When you beat him, you realize it was him all along inside the cat, which is dope. Next up, Hildeberg. Airplane levels are usually easier because all you gotta do is fly and shoot. Just go up and down, and that's pretty much what you do in this fight. She's got some cool variety to her hits, bullets, horns, maybe arrows if you're lucky, and the constant mini spaceships that might blast you with a parry. At the end, the best part is staring at her going crazy before turning into the moon, which is also the easiest part of the battle to be honest. Right after that we got Jimmy the Great, which I understand can be hard for some, but when you put things into perspective, it's way easier than it looks. He might blast you with all the parries at the beginning of the match, or you'll have to explode his heads and then fight Pinocchio where you just gotta fly in circles and parry the last hit. And then you've got the pyramids, which make you think what a joke this boss fight is. It's also fun how you look like twins if you use the special in this precise moment. Next up, Cagney Carnation. Why? Because might as well. She's got some dance moves, and after flying a bit, it can be hard to get used to the ground that quickly, but you gotta go down sometimes and take your time. The reason she's harder than Jimmy is because he didn't give me $1 million to this day. Next up, we have Ribby and Crooks, which are a fun duo. You need to go around and keep moving to stay at the same place. Sheesh. And the hardest part is the slot machine portion of the fight because you have to time your jumps correctly, which you haven't been doing for the previous boss fights. Up next, Moonshine Mob, which actually use the mob side of things for their advantage. The only problem is we can beat them. They do a good job at filling the screen up with stuff, but not at using it to their advantage. The hardest part is the section before the fake knockout screen if you're not equipped with a good weapon for it. But even if you are, this can take a while and you might die in the process, which sucks. Sally's stage play has more presence in the battle, and this fight is fun for the theater aspect of things while they're getting married and have their life flowing, and the babies are annoying, I can't lie. My favorite part is Pride shotting under her dress while her husband stares in the background. Really puts things into perspective. Beppy the Clown takes the next spot. He's here because the amount of things around can overwhelm people, and the speed in which things happen can help on that overwhelmingness. I love clowns, by the way, so he gets points for the cool design. Anyways, he's here for the chaotic nature of this fight and the thrill that I get from it. Next up, King Dice. He's not that hard being honest. Yeah, he's annoying, but being honest, it's really easy to get the number you want from the dice and the mini boss bosses aren't even all that. I know some people count every king dice style separately, but I'm ranking the gauntlet as one fight because that's how most players actually experience the pain. Anyways, Mr. Chimes is the hardest because he's a damn monkey. Get back to your country, please. The DLC really goes off at the bullet hell side of things. Glumstone the Giant really puts in the work and enslaves his minions for it. There's always something jumping around, and he even has King Dice and the Devil as puppets for his benefit, which is crazy, dog. Next in line, I've got the Howling Aces. It's funny to beat little puppies at their dad. There's a lot going on, and you need the help of this guy instead of being you piloting, but it's cool anyways. Then you can beat a strong and independent bitch, which sounds so interesting to be able to say. Calamaria is more independent, and the hardest part of the fight is most players' willingness to use their head. Being honest, she's not that hard, and the reason she's this high up in the list is the fact paying attention to the attacks can be hard, but if you reach self-control, it's easier, and you know it is in every single way possible. Phantom Express is next, kinda similar to the Howling Aces process of platform thing, but cooler, since they're ghosts and whatnot. Their design is way cooler, and I would join their team. That's about it, parry the skulls and have fun with the ghosts. I hate Wally Warbles, and just the thought of his face is enough to make me wanna punch something. So for my personal sake, because this is a safe place for myself, I won't take much longer talking about how much I would love to be part of the cookout. I hate the next a little bit less. Rumor Henny Bottoms is still a struggle, ignore the hot moments I'm going through in that footage. It was a hard day of work. This fight is in this specific spot because you gotta keep going up, meanwhile she's shooting a lot of crap at you, and depending on the weapons you're using, you need to stay up there for the hits to connect. Cheat code just flash her before she finishes becoming an airplane, and that's a big advantage for you, baby. Murmur Freeze comes next, and honestly reminds me a lot of Rumor Honeybottom somehow. The constant ice cream jumping and running around is annoying and fills the screen up with crap. Then you gotta go dodge some ice and more ice cream, but it's so satisfying to see this guy shivering after the beatdown. Anyways, this is the hardest of the mid-rank, and to start off the hard tier, we have Dr. Kahl's robot, by many taken as the hardest boss for some reason. Yeah, he's hard, but as you can see, he's the easiest of the hard tier bosses. There's even another tier after this one. If you apply what you've learned until this point in the game, there's no way you keep losing. Go up and down and destroy each part at a time. Don't rush, because what else are you gonna do? Beat another boss? Please, Michael. Final stage is the easiest and probably the reason this boss is the easier of the hard tier. Like any bullet hell, stay in the corner and dodge up and down without releasing the shooting button, because there's a high chance you're connecting some shots while dodging, buddy. The bishop only shows up now. Feels anticlimactic to have him here, but he's hard. You need to go around turning off the candles while he's flying around trying to find any remains of your inner child, and only then can you parry him and deal damage. If you can beat the bishop, there's nothing your inner child can't deal with in this world. Grim Matchstick is another one people usually praise as the hardest in the game for reasons I'm not totally sure. Yeah, he's hard, but not that hard, buddy. You can use the lobber, or you can be a man and use the roundabout or even cracked shot to connect with all the fireballs as a sign of total dominance. Yay! The devil is the final boss of the game, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's the hardest. He's the hardest of the hard tier, and there's a lot of cool tricks and even cries at the end, but you can show him why nobody messes with Cuphead and Mugman. Props to this guy for being the reason everybody we beat moments ago starts cheering us on. That's cute. The first boss from the Nightmare tier is Esther Winchester. She's the hardest airplane level, and she's good at it. So many things flying at once, and I can't even blame her for being scared to become an entire family's meal at McDonald's. Next is Chef Saltbaker. He really puts everything on the screen and keeps going for the next round. The last round is easy as long as you keep jumping and don't stop shooting. I would kill myself if I ever had to go for that second round ever again in my life, but the best part is he's not even the hardest. Devil and Angel is the hardest boss in this game. Just the fact I need to give my back to my enemies doesn't sit right with me, so getting used to that and figuring out ways for your brain to enjoy it instead of getting some bitches is too much to ask of me. So that's about it. See you around if you sub or we find each other in the near future. Which boss would you put in number one?
Out. Bro, I literally let go of the controllers because
Bitches.